Hello, my name is Henry Emphrey, and this is an Appgamekit game development tutorial. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make an object do back and forth movement. So to begin, you have this usual stuff up here that comes by default, so we're not going to worry about this stuff up here. But down here below, we first created our sprite. We gave it an ID of 1 and just put the 0. And here we have some animations for our sprite. We got enemy walk 1 and enemy walk 2. So these two are our animations for making the enemy walk. But for now, we're just going to work with this number 1 here. And we'll get to this second one later. So what I did here was I added the first animation using this ID that I gave up here. This 1, and I used the same one to add this sprite to this ID here. And then I set the enemy's position. The enemy's going to have an X position, which goes from right to left, and the Y position, which goes from up to down. So this says the enemy is going to start on screen at the 200th pixel, and it's going to be at the bottom of the screen, and it's going to start at 512 pixels at the bottom. And this is the speed in which the enemy is going to move, and this has to do with the directions in which the enemy is going to move at certain times. Okay, so now under this do function here, you have your do and you have your loop right here, and in the end of your loop right here. So between this do loop, I set the enemy's position. The enemy's ID is 1, and that's what we use, like we had up here and here. And we just initialize our enemy's positions. And this says if direction is equals to 1, which it is now, the enemy is going to move to the right. This plus means right. And it's going to move to the right at a speed of 4. See? Speed of 4. But if direction is set to 0, then the enemy will move left. This minus means left. And it will move left at a speed of 4. And down here it says when the enemy is going left and gets to 0, which will be to the left of the screen, it's going to go in the right direction, because the right direction is what we set here. Remember this plus here? Remember this 1? And if the enemy's going to the right and reaches the 300th mark, the direction is going to change to 0, and it's going to start going left, like we have here. The direction equals 0, and it goes to the left with this minus here. So when we start our game, the direction is set to 1, so the enemy's going to start off moving to the right. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch our game, and let's see what happens. Okay, see, this will be the 0 mark here, and remember we said when the enemy gets to the 0 mark, it starts going to the right, and this will be the 300 mark somewhere over here. And we said that when the enemy gets to this 300 mark right here, about right here, it will go to the left. It's doing now. 300 goes left. 0 goes right. So that's how you make the enemy or whatever the game object is go from to the left to right motion. But now I'm going to add an animation to this, and all I'm going to add is this one line of code here, which we're just adding our second animation. So you remember our second animation from the beginning? We're using this now. So I just add this line and this line. And all this is just the animation to get both of these two parts working together. See, both of these had the ID of 1, like we gave it here. And then we taking these ID of 1 And the first part has to do with the ID. Second comma has to do with the speed in which the animation will move. The third has to do with whether we're going to loop the animation. If you don't want the animation to keep walking, keep giving the animation of walking, then you set it to 0. Otherwise, you set it to 1 if you want it to look like it's walking. And we're dealing with animations 1, this animation here, and 2, this second animation here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play it, and now let's see what happens. And see, now this is what our enemy looks like with just those 2 lines of codes that we added. And then when you go back later, you could always play with these numbers and these figures to make different effects. For example, you can make this, you can change this to Y, enemy Y position, enemy, and then that's how and change all these to enemy Y and make it go up and down. So take what you learned in this tutorial and expand on it. Till next time. Thanks. Bye.